All right, let's meet a medieval badass queen. This regal woman is Urraca the Bold of Spain, also self-styled Empress of all Spain and Galicia. She was a badass. Not only was she sort of the first medieval monarch in the kind of way that we think of them now, she also gave zero fucks when it came to how to be a proper Christian woman. Now, granted, she was probably very much a Christian and a patron of the church, and we know that because she was involved in the patronage and building of churches, but she also behaved much more like what one would expect of a king than a queen. Until relatively recently, a lot more attention has been paid to with her father, whom she inherited her title, and her son, who took over after her, both named Alfonso. But she reigned for 17 years until she died in childbirth at the age of 45. Interestingly, she had multiple lovers, multiple husbands, had children out of wedlock, and even raised an army against her second husband, who was known as the Battler. She raised an army against the guy that was literally known for going to war. Unsurprisingly, people struggled a little bit in the early 12th century because she seemed to have a little bit too much control, according to her contemporaries. She liked to do things her own way. They often cast her as a Jezebel, but we're pretty sure she liked to troll people, including in the church that she's famed for being a patron of, featuring Hagar, the concubine of Abraham, rather prominently. So, kind of love that energy. Now, why don't we know about her? There's a couple of reasons. One being the mass exportation of misogyny with the Catholic Church. They love to talk about the virgin queens, the pure queens, the queens who did all the things that were like the Virgin Mary, and yeah, you get at the point. Queen Elizabeth I was really good at turning this into propaganda about 500 years later. But also the Anglo-centricity of the medieval period. For a long time, if it wasn't written in English, we didn't learn about it. And in this case, a lot of the information on Urraca, in fact, is still in Spanish. I can't read Spanish, so what I was able to find is still pretty minimal. I would love to find out more information, but I'd have to get some translations. Also, primarily, history has been written by men. Scholarly research is done by men. It wasn't until the 20th century when that started to change. And it's from the scholars who started to look at the numbers, started to look at the years and go, 17 years as a queen? And I'm sure there's got to be more of a story here to unearth this stuff. All of this is waiting to happen, and she is just one among hundreds and hundreds of similar stories.